wait a second, something's wrong here, because that's the road we need to go down. And the last time this bridge was inspected was 1967. Hi, birds. Oh, jeez, really? Holy crap.
Welcome to the town of Seguro. We're about to see exactly what this place is like.
All right, we are now about to leave the town of Puyo, which for me will always affectionately be known as the Chicken Town. I like this city. I really do. Met some good friends here. A friend of mine on the comments, and a shout out to John, had mentioned that he wants to see more of what I do in the city. So I think on my next city stop, I will do exactly that. And if you agree, let me know in the comments if you want to see more of what I do in the cities when I stop. I'd be happy to show that. Our drive today is about 5.5 hours. I've mapped it to about 3 hours just in case I need to stop there. But I think I should be able to get in a couple more hours today if it does not rain. And if I can balance this motorcycle, which is always the most difficult thing. Okay. Oh, I gotta back up. Oh gosh, this is so freaking heavy to try to back up uphill. Which way do I go, George? Which way do I go? So if we put in the full 5 hours today, definitely hitting mountains. If we put in 3, we'll kind of skirt them. And if we put in 3, we might be able to fly. I can't guarantee it. It's kind of in the foothills, so it's questionable without actually seeing the area. But another beautiful day at the office. All right, so I'll talk to you guys a little bit of my strategy about what I do as far as travel goes and how I arrive into a town and that kind of thing. I never, ever book a hotel in advance. The way I think about it is I will end up where I'm supposed to be. So I always come into a town and then I ask somebody where a hotel is, and they usually point out a hotel. I ask somebody that is lower middle class where a hotel is. I don't ask somebody in like an affluent neighborhood because I want to stay where the people are, and usually someone in lower middle class, look at those palm trees, beautiful. Wow. Usually somewhere in lower middle class will choose a hotel that's middle class, that's good value for your money, and clean. And so I've always had a good record with finding a good hotel. So that's kind of my strategy on finding a hotel. Laundry. Okay, so laundry is always a problem with me. Always, always, always. Because I cannot carry very many clothes. So unfortunately, every time I stop, I have to find a place to do my laundry. So laundry, you drop it off at a lavandora, and what they do is they wash it and they dry it and they iron it. I mean, they iron your socks. I mean, they do everything. It's very professionally done. And laundry usually costs me under $2. So for instance, this last lavandora that I put my clothes in, the bill was $1.15 for washing all my clothes and ironing and drying them and everything. So it's a phenomenal deal. I don't know how they make money because I'm sure just running the dryer's got to be more than $1. But all right, then once I'm in the hotel, the very first thing I do before the Great Explosion, I'll explain what the Great Explosion is in a second, is I take all my panniers off the bike and my tank bag. I put them in the hotel. I throw on a pair of jeans, and it's usually in the evening or at night. I prefer night. I will walk the city. typically I get something to eat, and then I'll just walk the city to know my surroundings. And I prefer to do that at night versus the day, because at night I can learn more about the city than I can in the day. In the day you learn like, okay, well, here's a good bakery, or here's whatever. But during the night you get to find out how safe the city is, and you get a better idea of your surroundings, or at least I do. So I prefer walking the city at night. I don't spend too much time with it, but I do try to put in a good 4 miles or so walking, just so I really know my environment well. And then I come back to the hotel, and then is the great explosion. The great explosion is basically everything comes out of the panniers and all the electronics get charged, and then I start the transfer. And when I say great explosion, it's just because I make a mess in the hotel room, just because it's I don't know, everything's packed so tight in these things, and everything comes out, and it's just I'm kind of disorganized when I get to the hotel, and it takes me a minute to get organized. So alright, so I've blabbed your ear off about that. Haven't really talked about this great scenery that we're seeing. Oh, look at that! Whoa! Beautiful scenery. I'm telling you, Ecuador is absolutely lovely. Alright, I finally reached a town. I'm not sure the name of the town. Macas, maybe? Wait a second. Something's wrong here, because that's the road we need to go down. Alright, well, so much for that. I was gonna stay on the highway, but obviously they've closed it, so not sure why. How do I get back there? Okay. I need to cross the river. I was going to tell you about the town and what I observe in a town, but now I've got to figure out how to cross the river. The river is in this valley right here, and the map doesn't show me any way to cross the river, so let me turn around here and figure this out. Hey amigo, necesita yo acá camino cerrado acá. Necesito. Hola. Aquí. ¿Es más? Okay. Gracias. Alright, so he said they closed the road that way, and it's a long way. I asked him, is it a lot? He said, Lago, it's a long way. It's long. So, somehow, we've got to figure out how to get across the river. Alright, we have reached our river crossing. Wow, that's a giant river. Okay. Not a whole lot of water in it, but the size of the river is huge. I guess the walls of the river. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Alright, here is our river crossing. Is it one way at a time, or how does this work? Oh, this is not a sketchy bridge or anything. Oh, this isn't sketchy at all. I'm glad I'm on a bike and not a car, I'll tell you that. Especially a big truck. Look at these sheets of metal that are flopping up and down as he goes over them. And the last time this bridge was inspected was 1967. I wonder if we're good to go. Vamos, sí o no? Vamos? Alright. Well, here we are on the sketchy sheet metal bridge crossing a river. Alright, We crossed. Oh, I gotta laugh. I just have to. I don't even know what I'm laughing at, but that was funny. Hi, birds. Oh, jeez, really? Holy crap.
Well, welcome to the small little town of Sucua. On my left, just up here, is going to be the hotel. And I usually don't walk around with a selfie stick because maybe I feel a little self-conscious. But on the left is the hotel. Behind the hotel, which I've already tested, which I've already checked out, is the park. And the back of the hotel is actually a loading dock for, like, I think they store wholesale foods in one of the storage places by the hotel. So we're gonna go on our normal walk tonight. It's actually rather early. I usually don't go out this early. It's usually rather later that I start going out, but in this case, we're gonna go out a little bit early because I know the camera is not gonna pick it up or pick up any of the footage unless it's somewhat daylight. So behind me is the end of the town at about a half a mile, which I've already walked down there. In front of me is going to be Centro, or the center of the city. It's primarily going to be places where you go shopping or, you know, kind of the city center. Not really a downtown. There's not going to be any buildings there, but there might be a shopping center. Depends on how big this town is, and I have no idea. I stopped here because the rain is coming in off the mountains, and it's raining in the mountains now, and the road is actually going to go up into the mountains, and I certainly didn't want to get caught in the rain driving, so didn't put in too many hours tonight, but tomorrow I think I'm going to be putting in a lot more. So unfortunately, I've got a long ride tomorrow, which means I won't be able to fly here today or tomorrow morning. And just to my right, coming in, I did see a nice soccer field that I could fly from. So I don't know. I'm tempted. I could fly from here if the winds are good, but man, I've got a long drive tomorrow, and I kind of don't want to put in the time flying, because it's not flying that takes so long. It's packing and unpacking the bike. It takes a long time to put the paramotor off the bike, get everything set up, and then put it back on. So if I do that, even if I set up at like 6 in the morning, fly and get down by 7:30, 8 o'clock, I won't leave this town until about 10. But anyway, welcome to the town of Seguro. We're about to see exactly what this place is like. Well, we reached the center square, and every Latin town, even the small ones, have a sign that says the name of the town. In this case, of course, it'll say Sucua. Now, what this Latin town doesn't have in the city square is they don't have a Catholic church, which is what I see all over Colombia. Usually on the square, there'll be a big Catholic cathedral, I don't know what you call them, church, iglesia. But in this case, they do have some sort of religious statue. I think it would be Jesus here, I'm not sure. Kind of looks like Jesus. Yeah, okay. Pierced hands and the heart with the binding over it or whatever, a Catholic symbol behind me. So I guess it is a pretty Catholic place, but there's no church here. It seems like a modern town. The city square, 3/4 of a mile from my hotel, so not very far. We still haven't found something to eat. That's kind of our goal at the moment, is to find some food. So far, I haven't seen a whole lot of street food that I would like. A lot of bananas, a lot of corn type of things, plantains. But I'm looking for chicken. I kind of feel like chicken tonight. So let's see if we can continue the hunt and see where we end up. Okay, what I did find right now is I found the local hangout for the city of all the guys. And you can see around me, it's volleyball. And then to my right, you'll see a bunch of card tables and a bunch of guys playing cards. I actually see this a lot in Latin towns, especially on Fridays and Saturday nights. Just happens to be a Saturday, so everybody's hanging out, enjoying their friends, getting some sports in, and then behind me, you'll see some boys playing basketball. And another typical thing. So this is kind of like the town, I don't know what you would call it, like the town hangout for sports and that kind of thing. Also, on the card tables, usually they're playing a game like bridge or spades is what they play. They call it something else, but it's played almost exactly like bridge. Sometimes they play only with a certain amount of cards, so sometimes it's only 16 cards, and then they call it 16. But I don't really know the rules when they start taking things out of the deck. Anyway, let's move on and see what else we can find. I have to show you this sign up here. The sign says, "Respeta a los demás, controla tu vocabulario." In other words, respect others with your speech, or don't swear. And of course, another sign over here, which basically says, clean up after your dog, because it's a playground. Well, we've kind of reached the end of the city. Just to my left now, you're going to hit barrios, and it's really not crowded neighborhoods. They're more spread out. So we're going to make a big square and head back on a different road than we came from. And in front of me, it looks like some sort of gymnasium, but it looks like a school that may be shut down. To the left looks like a little more city, to the right a little more city. So let's go to the left, and we'll head away from the hotel. But if I was to describe this town, I would say it's kind of a sleepy town. There's not a whole lot of ultra poor people. Most of it is middle class. There's some good businesses here. There's a huge ferreteria, which is a hardware store here, and a big DeWalt store too. I'm not sure what the industry of the town is. Haven't figured that out yet, but just seems like an average little town in Ecuador. So let's continue our walk. We still haven't found chicken, and chicken is still fresh on my mind here. So let's see if we can find some up here. Well, I decided to get off of the highway there, or that main road, because there was really nothing on that road. A couple of gas stations, a few restaurants, tire shops, that kind of thing. Normal things you would see on a highway. And I decided to head down into a neighborhood because I heard some bells ringing. And it's from this church right here, which I'm not sure if it's a Catholic church or not. Probably. I'm not sure. But it's a beautiful building, kind of out in the middle of nowhere. We're in a very small neighborhood right here. Yeah, there's not a whole lot around here but this church and a few houses. No businesses. Well, let's at least go into the front and check it out. We're not going to go in the building, but we'll at least look at the building. Looks fairly modern. Looks new. Yeah, it's Catholic. Definitely Catholic. Interesting. And it's a real bell. They're not using a speaker. That's something else I've noticed around here is most of the churches have actual real bells that they ring, and they don't ring speakers like you see in most countries, because, you know, a bell is not as loud as a speaker, so usually they play the bells on a speaker. But in this case, there's a giant bell up in that steeple. Well, the suburbs don't really have a whole lot to offer. I'm not really going to call it a neighborhood, because as soon as you get off the main road, you kind of run into suburbs. But the view is amazing. The view is absolutely amazing. In this area, it looks like they're building some new houses, or at least there's some lots for sale. There's a house that they're building behind me. Actually, there's two. There's one next to it as well. But it looks like this city is just the main road and then a few other partially main roads, and that's it. That's the whole city. It's just one road. So it's a rather small town that I'm in. And we still haven't found any chicken to eat. But it's okay, it's still early. We'll find some. These, by the way, have got to be fruit trees, but I don't know what kind of fruit. I'm telling you, the fruit here is like crazy weird, but delicious. Absolutely delicious. Yeah, it looks like there's some beans on this one, and they're flowering. These are banana or plantains, and this looks like a citrus of some type, probably lime. Impossible to find lemon, impossible. So we'll continue back up to the main road, and then from there we'll walk back towards the hotel, because this is pretty much the edge of town at this point. Well, we found some chicken in this little restaurant here, and just on the side of the road I saw a grill cooking, and so I decided, hey, maybe they'll have chicken. And sure enough, chicken, some peas, some rice, not sure what this is here, and then some sort of a juice. Bon appetit. I found a proper indoor soccer rink, and it looks like a league play. It's a smaller court. It's about half the size, maybe a quarter the size of an actual soccer field. It's all played indoor, and it looks like there's 7 players on the side. There's a carnival behind me in town. Beautiful park across the street. This is the other side of the city from the hotel. What's odd is you have nice houses, you have people driving nice cars, but the prices here are the same as they would be anywhere else in Ecuador. So I'm not sure. It must be an affluent type of area. The restaurants are nice, like this one behind me. I don't know. It's a little strange. But we'll continue our walk. Look at this beautiful park. It goes for a long way. Look how wonderful this park is. It's like the city park. At the far end, they're having the carnival there. But really nice park, really nice roads, nice neighborhood. Very, very safe place to live. I feel very secure here, and I think any foreigner would. Well, we walked the city, and there wasn't too much to the city, actually. Just kind of a single road and some side streets, but we found some chicken, which is good. A quiet place, and I'm very surprised about the economy here. My dinner tonight cost me $2.50 for everything, but the economy of the street doesn't reflect the prices, so it's a little strange. Anyway, we're back at the hotel, and it's now time for, you guessed it, the great explosion. So here's basically when I take everything out, especially the electronics, and I start charging them, because if I don't get them charged right away, I will forget. And I have a long ride tomorrow, so I have to make sure everything is charged. Then I have to take all the drives, and I have to transfer all the data from the cameras into the drive, and then from the drives, which is my backup, I got to transfer them into the computer, and then edit videos. So that's basically my life at night. So anyway, I've got to get all of this done and a shower before tomorrow morning, because tomorrow I have a really, really long